Hola mes amis, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, bienvenue. Welcome to my channel. We're just gonna hop right into it because I don't like small talk, y'all don't like small talk. We all fast forward that junk anyway, so let's hop right on into it. Creoles and Cajuns. Louisiana Creoles, Louisiana Cajuns. What is the difference? Let's talk about it. So, there is one very simple, quick, easy way to answer this. This is the answer that I grew up distinguishing them by, that I think a lot of people who, if they know a little bit about Louisiana culture, a lot of people kind of use as one rule to differentiate Creoles from Cajuns. And that rule typically is Creoles are black or mixed with black, Cajuns are white. Bam, done, easy, right? Not so fast. It ain't that easy. It ain't gonna be that easy. I mean, first of all, a lot of Cajuns do have a little black in them because Louisiana white folk in general have just a little splash. I'm not gonna say all of them. I don't know the percentage of it, but we do know that Louisiana white people, more than any other white person in America, there are higher probabilities to have some distant African ancestry than any other white American. So a lot of Cajuns do have a little black in them, but it's going to be very, very, very tiny. But still, you know, the average white American doesn't have, contrary to what y'all like to say, the average white American does not have African ancestry. It exists, but it is not the norm by far, because we know that pretty much all blacks have white. We know that pretty much all blacks have European ancestry. So a lot of people like to say, and yeah, whites have African ancestry. No, they don't. I don't like talking about it. So, but I digress. Like that's not my talking point here. That's just the fun fact that Louisiana white people oftentimes have a tiny bit of African ancestry. But they are by and large white people. Cajun people are by and large fully white, or 90% plus, like they're white. But the answer isn't so cut and dry to where we could just say, oh well, Creoles are black, or Creoles are mixed with black, Cajuns aren't. Because as you guys love to remind me all the time, Creoles aren't always mixed. Don't y'all love to throw, even though I say it myself, for some reason y'all still love to say in the comments, mixed people, light-skinned people just want to hijack the term Creole and make it all about them. Creoles aren't always mixed. They have fully black Creoles, and y'all are absolutely right. There are fully black Creoles, but you know what that means? You know what that means? If there are fully black Creoles, because mixed people aren't the only Creoles, and there can be fully black ones, what do you think that means? That means there can also be fully white ones. Okay. So to be Creole, it is simply being a person of colonial Louisiana ancestry. So if your ancestors were here during colonial times, you are Louisiana Creole. So you could be white, you could be black, you could be mixed. So with that said, Cajuns have a distinct history, be it that their ancestors were exiled from Canada, the Acadians. They were exiled from Canada. They came down to Louisiana. They settled on the bayous and, in the outskirts and wherever they settled. And those are Cajuns. Cajuns. That's them. They have a specific history, and they blended with the people there. So Cajuns are often, French. They're usually, they tend to be a mixture of a lot of white things: French, Spanish, probably mainly French and Spanish, I'm guessing, maybe some Irish, Italian, whatever the case. But of course, they spoke French. French was the main thing, and they're white basically. But they have that connection to Canada. So their ancestors were French, but by way of Canada. So their ancestors came from Canada. Whereas Creoles were anyone of colonial Louisiana ancestry, meaning a Cajun can be Creole because the Cajuns' ancestors were here during colonial Louisiana. So defining the difference between Cajuns and Creole all depends on how you're looking at the term Creole. So oftentimes the term Creole is associated with being a mulatto or triracial blend of colonial Louisiana ancestry. It's often associated with mixed people. So if you're looking at it that way, then yes, Creoles are mixed people, Cajuns are white people with that Canada connection. But if we're looking at the term Creole for what it really is in its whole definition, not the one that kind of became popularized racial blend definition. If we're looking at it culturally, Cajuns are Creole because they are of colonial Louisiana ancestry. So basically, a Cajun can be Creole, but a Creole isn't necessarily Cajun. A good example would be how all Americans are Americans, but only Americans of African ancestry are African American. So all people of colonial Louisiana ancestry are Creole, but only those whose ancestors who were exiled from Canada, who came down to Louisiana, those people are Cajuns, but they fall under the broader Creole umbrella. Just like all Americans fall under the broader American umbrella, no matter their race. Being Creole does not make you Cajun, but being Cajun by default does make you Creole. Out of the two terms, Cajun and Creole, Creole would be the more inclusive term out of the two because there's more stipulations that come with a Cajun identity than, you know, the Creole one. The Cajun identity has to have that Canada connection that all Creoles don't have that. We might, you know, our ancestors could have came directly from France. A lot of them come from Haiti. We have our ancestors can come from, you know, different places, whereas Cajuns, their ancestors for sure came from Canada. They had to. In order to be Cajun, they have to come from Canada. So yeah, I don't know if I made that more clear for you or more confusing, but the quick response, the one that most people kind of go to is that, you know, Cajuns are white, Creoles are black or mixed with black. But if you break it down further, if you break down the Creole term the way it's supposed to be broken down, Cajuns fall under the Creole umbrella because they are of colonial Louisiana ancestry. But I'm sure, but the average Cajun is going to identify as Cajun and not Creole. It's just not popular or customary for white people to identify as Creole. They do fall under that umbrella, but they don't tend to identify as it. I mean, there's some white people that identify as Creole. I've actually never personally met one, but I've seen some in the comments on the internet. I know they exist, but it's far and few will, you know, if you ask them what they are, they're going to be like, I'm Creole. They're going to say they're white. So yeah, that's a brief definition on the difference or lack thereof between Creoles and Cajuns. Both are, of course, French-based cultures. And again, a Cajun can be Creole, but a Creole isn't necessarily Cajun. In most instances, we aren't. I mean, I have some Cajun ancestry. My great-grandmas have Cajun, but I don't think that really warrants me being Cajun. I don't identify as Cajun. And another thing to note is, and this might be a topic for a separate video, really, but Cajuns are kind of becoming the face of the Louisiana French identity. And they're usually more boldly, outwardly, proudly Cajun than Creoles are on average. And I think that is because of all the controversy that comes with the Creole identity. You know, Cajuns can be Cajuns. They're not gonna have white people breathing down their necks. Why aren't you saying you're white? You're an American now. Louisiana's a part of American. Why are you sticking to a Cajun identity? You are white like me. They don't have that. They can freely be Cajun. So now, generations later, you are left with a Cajun population who was always able to be proudly Cajun. Many more of them speak French than Creoles do. I mean, it's not a lot of us that speak French, Louisiana French or Codivini. It's not a lot of us in general that speak it, but out of the two, there's more Cajuns in those outskirt bayou areas. There's more Cajuns that still speak it than there are, you know, Creoles, people who identify as Creole. They have been able to carry that identity, that traditional Louisiana French identity, more than Creoles have because of all the drama with the Creole term and the black versus mixed, light skin versus dark skin, all the stuff that comes with the Creole stuff. So yeah, that's just another little insight into the difference between the two and how and why I don't want to hear nobody complain later if, you know, in a little while people know what Cajun is and they don't know what Creole is. And Cajun starts to become more popularized and Creole starts to disintegrate even further. I don't want to hear nothing about the white man took the whole Louisiana identity and now all people know is the white Cajuns and they don't know anything about Creole, blah blah blah, because you fought over the Creole term. Basically, mixed people wouldn't let black people be Creole, and in return black people say, well, if I can't be Creole with you, you have to be black with me, and neither group let the other one be Creole in peace. And so the only one that's able to stand strong is the Cajun title, which belongs to white people. And I don't want to hear black people say nothing about it. Because you were part of it. You were part of the reason why Creole identity is struggling. And and I know it for a fact because I'm on here pushing for it, and y'all fuss with me all the time about it. Oh, you just don't want to be black. Creole people are colorist. Creole people, you talking about people from my great grandma's generation? Get over it. Like, come on. Creoles haven't been like that. And I'm gonna say grandma's generation. Creoles haven't been like that en masse since the Black Power era. I don't know if it's because Creole people jumped on the bandwagon thinking black was cool. I don't know if they got tired of fighting by then. I don't know what it was, but around that time, it kind of stopped, and Creoles have not been like that ever since. Yes, there's a few in the bunch. There's a few in every bunch. There's a few pro-black people going around talking about white people. There's a few in the bunch of everybody who don't like other people. But yeah, so that's kind of basically it. The difference between Creoles and Cajuns. It's really not that complicated. It's not that difficult. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for all the comments y'all leave me on the other videos. It just warms my heart to know that people are genuinely interested in my culture, because there aren't a whole lot of Louisiana Creoles left, and a lot of us kind of live in the closet. Like, a lot of us are far more proud of our heritage than we're able to say out loud and publicly, because we are often shunned when we do. Let's be real. Y'all know it's the thing. We don't want the backlash from people when we say it out loud. Like, that's not how that's supposed to go. That should not be hidden or downplayed, or something we only talk about amongst each other. So I'll go on ahead and be the voice for that. Like, I've been wanting to create a channel like this for years, but I already knew the flack that will come with that. And I just didn't feel like hearing people's mouths. And that is a travesty, and that is a shame that any group of people would have to suppress their own identities that they were born with and not be able to share it for fear of making people mad, for fear of people assuming that they're being supremacists in some way for being proud of their background. Some will get it, and some will be like, ain't that crazy? So yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys soon. Au revoir.